season of Canada's Got Talent with your new judge, me.
What a coup to get Shania.
We're talking to Shania Twain. I just had the craziest thing in the world.
No!
People are allowed to have bad taste.
Wow.
Few guys who thought they were pretty smart.
I'm right. I don't care if you boo me. I'm right.
Okay, this is very awkward.
You think you're a genius, you drive me up the wall.
If this doesn't go well, just please cut this out.
This is the wildest thing I've ever seen on stage.
I've never seen anything like that. This is so exciting. I loved it.
This was incredible.
Why did I say yes to this show?
Next.
That don't impress me much.
Incroyable. Brutal.
I was on the edge of my seat the whole time.
Moves without it, got the touch. Now don't get me wrong, yeah.
That was outstanding.
You're awesome.
You are a star.
That don't impress me.
You're gonna start off with a no?
Yep.
Howie, you're wrong.
I don't agree.
It wasn't good.
It was like Schitt's Creek, but just the first part.
I did not want to see your genitals.
That don't impress me.
Welcome to East Coast DNA. I'm sure everyone absolutely would know today's guest, DeeDee Austin. Welcome, DeeDee.
Hi, Darcy. Thanks for having me.
So it's funny, you and I have run into each other quite a bit over the last couple of years, and you are one of my early-ish guests. Definitely early on, I was trying to find younger musicians because the podcast was kind of born out of a time when nobody was really performing. And
Right.
it seemed like we had a vacuum for a while where there were not a lot of young artists out there. So I was super pleased to meet you a few years back, but it's been entirely too long since I've had you on.
No.
We have quite a few things we'd like to talk about. So first of all, the most topical thing, I want to give you a huge congratulations on your big golden buzzer moment on Canada's Got Talent.
Thank you so much.
It was, I'm sure for yourself, a very emotional moment. And even though I digest a lot of this type of content, I don't tend to really follow a lot of those shows too closely either. I feel probably I'm a little disconnected because I'm so close to the East Coast musicians. So I was happy to see that this season actually has some good representation from our region, but I was super stoked to see that you were on there. And I don't think I could have been prepared for the reaction that the judges had. It was just, that's best case scenario. I don't think that you could do better.
No, thank you.
So if you don't mind, I know that you're very, very busy at the moment too, but since it has been a while since we've had you on the podcast, for those that are not familiar with you, we did have you on back in 2022 as part of a series of interviews with Music Nova Scotia, because you're up for an award way back then. But I'd always meant to have you back on. Like at that point, I don't think you even, like you wouldn't have even had the Buried Truth video out, which was, that blew my mind away. And I wanted to talk to you at that point. Then like not even a full year probably after that, you were going to perform for the Canada Games in 2023. and I'm a huge fan of Aysanabee. And so I've been following his career the last few years, and I was excited to see he started doing some East Coast tour dates. And then lo and behold, he picks up you for an opener on a few of those dates too. So just success after success. I don't even know where I would start talking to you about any of those. So I'm just curious for you. I mean, obviously, those are some standout moments, but when I originally talked to you, I tend to talk to artists as far as they're developing and getting more exposure, and you can kind of see that growth. But like you were already performing at a pretty high level for someone that was just out of the gate at a very young age as well. And now here we are just a couple years later. You're 19 now, so you're probably having a few more doors opening for you as far as options to perform, but you already have national recognition. And back 3 years ago as young DeeDee, and I was talking to you, one of the key things for you that I found really interesting from someone who was younger was that you were really focused on representation for your culture.
Mhm.
And I've seen that over the years. I've seen different people doing it in different ways, but I really want to say kudos for sticking to your guns because you've done a phenomenal job and it's been very receptive. So
Thank you so much.
for yourself, the last 3 years, 4 years, what has it been like as far as balancing the life of being a teenager? Like now you're entering young adulthood, but you always had to balance being a teenager and being a almost full-time music professional.
Yep.
So, for some of the younger artists out there, especially people that are just being exposed to you through TV now, what would you say has been, probably tips and tricks? What has been the best of it? And, what are maybe some pitfalls or, like, things that they may want to avoid? Or where would you gravitate that they go to, set up their own successes?
Oh my goodness, that's a good question. First off, I find it really difficult, kind of giving advice sort of thing because it's been a challenge for me. Like it hasn't been easy balancing all of these things. You know, I started like literally fresh out of junior high. I released my first single. Like I was in grade 8 when I released my first single. Um, and then from there, like I kind of dealt with a lot of bullying, racism, discrimination, and it got so bad to the point where I literally had to build up the courage to walk into my high school. Um, and then from there, it kinda all accumulated, all of the negative comments, all of, like, the hatred that was being thrown at me, everything accumulated, and it kinda felt like a big boulder on top of my head that was trying to push me further and further into the ground. And then I actually my last release, "Breathe," when I wrote that song, it actually broke that boulder on my head, and, I've been kinda using that as one of my healing tools, for
Yeah.
myself, not only for everyone else, but for myself too. But being so young, like, starting off in the industry, it was a whole different ball game, a whole different world. You know, I didn't have access into all ages venues, so I felt like I was kind of stuck in a trap box for a while because I wanted to like, when it came to, like, ECMAs and Music of Scotia, like, Nova Scotia Music Week, I haven't seen any showcases. None,
Yeah.
because I haven't even had the opportunity to be allowed into these venues, right?
Mhm.
So there's definitely a lot of downfalls, like, whenever you start a career so young. However, you do get a kick start if you start young because you have your whole life ahead of you. Like, even you have your whole life ahead of you still. But I released my first single at 14. I released my first EP at 15. Like, I started really young. I always had a dream. I always, you know, my one of my biggest goals just for my entire life was to be successful, to be financially stable. Like, these are just things that I've always like have been hungry for, I guess. So, to any young artists out there that are looking to, you know, start up a business and start up a career and play with bands and gig and play all these different shows, I definitely say that you have to walk before you run. You know, a rose doesn't grow overnight. All of this took me 4 years, literally. It's gonna be 4 years in June or July for me. So it's definitely like it's a big journey. It's a long journey. And you have to have a lot of patience. Like I said, a rose doesn't grow overnight. So you gotta keep working, keep trucking, you gotta believe in yourself. But the support systems are also really, really important as well. I feel like a lot of young people just in general struggle with, you know, self-doubt. They don't believe in themselves. Some people just genuinely don't even know where to start. And my biggest thing, like my biggest piece of advice that I give to everyone is if you want to actually like get your name in a pool, signing up with Music Nova Scotia was one of the best things that I could have done right off the hop. Right off the hop, I took the opportunity to, you know, pursue all of the basic trainings. Like I did all of my basic trainings through Music Nova Scotia, all of the like the educational parts of the career. Like I tried to do as much as of that as I could very early on, and sometimes I even still sign up for them to get a refresh. Like information is information is information, and it'll help you in the long run. So anyone like that wants to start up like with their career, Music Nova Scotia is definitely a great place to start. And I do believe that if you're under 18, you get a free membership as well. So that's super helpful. Yeah.
Yeah, I've provided the same recommendation for some people in the past as well. It's kind of regardless of the region that you're in too, because if you're not perhaps from Nova Scotia, it really is important to plan ahead and kind of put the work in like you've been doing. To people that are just being introduced to you through a song on Spotify or a YouTube video or a television appearance, they may not see the work that's being put in, but to your point, there's options out there, so you just gotta go out and look for them. So I don't want to blow by too much your early success, but since you had mentioned Breathe, um, the Buried Truth video was huge, and I think that's really where you got a lot of your national kind of recognition out there. But when I heard Breathe come out, it did feel like a new version of DeeDee, maybe a little bit more mature with a couple years under you. I mean, to be fair, one of your early singles was about being 16.
Mhm.
So, I mean, now this song, even though you have had heavy lyrical content, like Buried Truth,
Mhm.
with Breed, it did feel topical within your age range again, of course, but something you'll learn yourself that us fellas that have been around for a little while, we have the same mental health struggles. We just have different tools in dealing with it these days.
Yeah.
But it is very important, much as how you have focused on representation for your culture. That is important too to bring to the table, like to be able to speak about mental health. And to your point, like a lot of artists out there are doing a lot on their own. There's a lot of things to be done, and
Mhm.
burnout is real. So it is really important that there's a healthy dialogue out there for people. So I definitely appreciate you doing that. And I hope that that single is a very good song. Uh,
So
Anyone that's watching this now heard a very small clip in the intro. So I'd recommend that anybody that wants to hear the rest of that song, they go out and look for it as soon as they get done with this interview. And I hope that all of the attention from Canada's Got Talent doesn't completely overshadow that there's a brand new single there, it just draws more attention to it.
Mhm.
But the big question that I have from that, that's a new song. So does that mean that there's more new songs in the near future? I I'm
Yeah.
I'm stoked.
I actually just finished up recording my third EP. I have one more song to complete and it's over halfway finished. So we're almost there. And then it's just the mixing and mastering of my third EP. And I plan to release that probably early to mid to probably sometime within April. That's my goal.
Amazing, perfect timing for another thing that I have to acknowledge, ECMA nomination. I am nominated myself, and I know that this year some of the early preamble has been a little overshadowed with some different points of view, but much like everything out there in world news right now, that's the reality of the world that we live in right now. Not everybody is going to see eye to eye, and we just have to keep those dialogues going. So that's all aside. I would be much like yourself as a nominee and more focused on the fact that the East Coast Music Association is important for our region and having that support, much like you said, from Music Nova Scotia, there is kind of, pardon the pun, stepping stones. And you can kind of start building your career in our region. I've recently done some interviews with people that are not based in the East Coast, and that is something that they have different tools available to them, but they don't have the same structure that we do. And it's something that you and I are both very familiar with and have both had experiences where they've been supportive in helping us get established. And we've had very similar time frames in which we've been operating in this region too. So once again, I do want to congratulate you on all of your successes,
Thank you so
but
much.
we have to talk a little bit more about Canada's Got Talent. So the gold buzzer moment was huge, and I actually wrote your father afterwards. You guys made me cry when I got to see a hug on stage. I actually have daughters that are younger and older than you, so you're right in the middle there. So since I've known you and your father for around the same amount of time, I've always had kind of a kinship with him that, like as dad to dad. So it was a very touching moment. I was glad that you guys got to have that. But next steps, Rogers is offering up the largest ever cash prize in Canadian television history of $1 million. So my car needs some repairs, and I'm trying to find a way to get to Newfoundland for the UCMA. So, no, yeah, what's the rest of this look like? Is it like, are you done filming the show and now you're just sworn to secrecy? Is this a back and forth thing? I'm not sure 100% how it works behind the scenes and what you can share.
So right now, all I know is that since I got Howie Mandel's golden buzzer, which since all I know, it's huge. Thank you,
Yes.
Howie. Like shout out to Howie Mandel because this is so surreal and I still can't even fathom that this is even happening to me. Um, so whenever you get the golden buzzer, basically it immediately advances you into the next round. So I qualify right now for the semifinals. So I know. And then coming with the golden buzzer, you get 25,000 thanks to CIBC. So I'm gonna make sure that that money goes to good places within my career to help me, get on more stages and amplify my voice even more and help amplify the voices for those who can't or don't have the opportunity to use their voice.
So we're definitely going to be following along here, and I'm sure all of the fans of East Coast DNA and your existing fans will be following along as well. So you have a huge community of support down here. I know in my own social medias, because it's mostly East Coast, even my personal profiles are mostly people involved in the industry of the one manner or another. My social medias just were alive the last 24 hours, either recommending that people go watch the show or celebrating your success with your first appearance. So definitely, I would be super pumped to see you make it all the way. But as far as you make it, you've already made a huge impression. So best of luck with that for sure.
Thank you so much.
So you have the album coming, and you'll be featured throughout this season for as long as they'll have you. So I'm curious, does that have you with some uncertainty as far as when you're available to perform this year? Or do you have some things that are already announced as far as where people can go out and catch you live?
Right now, all I know is that I have the East Coast Music Awards coming up in May, which are in Newfoundland. I'm not sure if anyone is going to be in St. John's in May, but the East Coast Music Awards are awesome, and there's so many beautiful artists, amazing talent. just amazing art, period. And it's always just like such a life of the party moment with ECMA. There's so much, celebration, not even for success and awards, just for, being the artists that they are. So if anyone wants to come out to the ECMAs, I do believe in doing ECMA Fan Fest this year, which is super, super exciting. I actually played Fan Fest back when they were in Halifax, and it was definitely a highlight of my ECMAs in Halifax. So I'm so excited to play Fan Fest again. And then I have like an export showcase and stuff, and then I think I have an original showcase. I'm not sure. And then I'm also playing the award show.
Amazing.
I'm so excited. Yes, I've never played the workshop for ECMA before, so I can't wait. And I'm so amped up and I'm so ready already.
I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye out for you. Aside from the chance to see you perform in one of those showcases, I know, and you had referenced it here in this episode too, you haven't had the privy of attending the showcases of some of your colleagues. So I
Sure.
can only imagine you're going to be beaming the entire week, because those live performances that you see from some of your friends out there, definitely great. But the showcase performances are something special. You know yourself from what you put into them, that
Mhm.
you're going to be, is much like my reaction to Canada's Got Talent last night. You're going to go in with a high level of expectation and then come away like with tears of joy in your eyes, being like,
Oh,
I can't believe it was even better than I expected. So
I can't.
I'm very excited for you to be able to have that opportunity. And like I said, I expect to be on site as well. So perhaps we'll have a chance to catch up again, either on or
Love it.
off camera. For anyone that wants to kind of get a sample of DeeDee Austin, we mentioned the current single,
Mhm.
and I had mentioned Buried Truth, but you do have a fairly wide range already out there, and they're not even, despite the fact that I could definitely try to label you with a genre, I think, Shania Twain actually describing how you were doing a fusion and where you were bringing indigenous music into something that's more like a contemporary pop. It's it's not even so much the genre as much as like a unique style that you've developed, but you definitely within that have still managed to have like these beautiful piano ballads and then super hyped up pop songs. So what would you, maybe like 2 or 3 songs that you would tell people to go out and listen to if they're new to the DeeDee Austin catalog?
Ooh, that's a good question. I've never been asked that before. A couple of my favorites that I like to like whenever I create a set list and I know that I have a show coming up, I have like a couple of songs that I'm like, oh yeah, like I can't wait to rock it with that song. A couple of those songs would probably be Stay Dancing for sure. Stay Dancing was one of the singles off of my EP Stay Dancing when it released back in November. So yeah, Stay Dancing for sure. And then All I Have Is All I Need is a super good one too. The inspiration came to me for that based on how my parents raised me. So when my parents were growing up, you could consider them like the less fortunate kids of their town. Like they didn't wear the fanciest, most expensive clothes. They didn't drive the fanciest cars. And so when they were raising me, they instilled in me to be grateful for everything. Because others can have a lot more than others, but all you need is all you need, and that's it. And that's how I was kind of raised. And there's this one saying that my mom always used to tell me, and that is this: if you have food on the table, clothes on your body, and a roof over your head, you're rich in life. And that really sparked me inspiration for that song. So all I have is all I need is a great one as well. And you mentioned earlier on in the podcast that I had the opportunity to perform for the Canada Games. So I actually headlined the closing ceremonies for that, and that day was actually the birthday of my single Natural Born Original, in which I released that. Oh my goodness! I released the day that I performed. I premiered it at the Canada Games, so that was so surreal. I recorded that with Chris Kirby. So yeah, those are probably like my top three. Stay Dancing, All I Have Is All I Need, Natural Born Original. If you want a more like upbeat, dancey, poppy song, then All Your Promises Break is a good one. But yeah, I'm honestly so excited for this third EP. Like, I love every single song that I put out, but I am so proud. So proud. I walk around with so much pride for all of the work that I put into this third EP. I feel like if you think that Stay Dancin' is a good EP, then I strongly have a feeling that this third EP will top Stay Dancin'.
Amazing. I'm stoked for it, and I'm curious as the season goes on. We'll definitely have to meet up again and get an update from you.
Yeah,
But
but
I'm curious too. There's kind of a loose thread connection there running in the background where we had mentioned Nova Scotia quite frequently, but you also are representing PEI kind of indirectly there as well, because that's where your Indigenous culture originates from.
Mhm.
So Shania's going to be performing in PEI this summer.
That's
So
exciting.
I think I just need to put that out there and see if anyone listening sees that there's like maybe a potential opportunity to call someone up on stage or something. I said the same thing with Richard Wood when he was on, because he lives over there and used to perform with her as well.
Great.
So definitely be interesting to see if some type of relationship blossoms out of your duration on the show.
Oh my
And
goodness.
that Rogers cash prize, once again, $1 million is very significant.
Mhm.
I'm curious. It's always been a question that people always ask, like, what would you do if you won $1 million? Do you really have a plan, or
I do have a plan.
yeah, well, let's hear it.
Okay, so if I win the $1 million, I wanna take the $1 million and donate it to all of the food banks in Canada, capitalizing on First Nations community. I wanna stock them with fresh food and clean water because we are in a crisis right now in a lot of the First Nations communities. We have a boil water advisory pretty well in pretty well every community. And, water is literally makes up like 90% of our blood. It's important. It's a necessity that we need and that we should have a right to have access to. So I want to take that $1 million and put it to a good thing, and I want to stock the food banks with, good food and clean water.
That's very impressive. I really wish you the best success, regardless of how the show turns out. But I couldn't think of a more suitable way to direct something like that too. So definitely, kudos to your parents. You've mentioned them a few times. I don't always say that for the younger artists, because I don't like to just feature the fact that you are younger, but I do know that your family is very important and very supportive. So definitely thank you to everyone out there that's helped DeeDee along the way. And thank you, DeeDee, for reaching out to me in the past. And thank you for being available to me when I needed someone there as well. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart and wish you the best success going forward. And for
Mercy.
anyone that's watching along, please stick along here. And as we end the episode, in lieu of featuring the single, which you can go stream on Spotify right now, we're going to transition into the magical golden buzzer moment that was provided to me through Canada's Got Talent and City TV. So thank you to them and Rogers as well. And DeeDee, I'm going to see you in the very near future.
Amazing. I'm looking forward to it, Darcy. Thank you so much for taking this time to chat with me.
Yeah, thank you. And everyone else out there on the road.
My name is DeeDee Austin. I'm from the Avagwit First Nation in Scotchford, PEI, and I'm Howie's golden buzzer. To be completely honest, I wasn't sure how the judges were going to perceive my performance just because it is such a heavy topic.
I felt like when you were singing that I was listening to the voice and the story told by your grandmother.
And then Howie hit his golden buzzer for me.
What you're doing is not only great, it's important.
My ambition going forward is to just share my story and my songs, just to be an inspiration to whoever has a dream out there. Thank you, CIBC! Yay!